Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of Higurashi Kageboushi. Um, Last time Tomoe got stabbed. I still think it's Chief Yamamoto. I know it's kinda insane, but I locked in my bed. He killed their father somehow, and it's gonna be some crazy thing like that. Imagine. Before we start though, gotta do some self shilling. I did make a Twitter account. You can find it in the description. It'll be on the videos from now on, from this week on. So yeah, follow. You'll see occasional bangers, Um, get some takes, etc., etc. I don't know. I've literally never used Twitter before, so it's been kind of fun just looking into it. And if we hit like 100 followers somehow, probably won't happen. But if we do, man, special video, okay? I don't know what it is, but it'll be special. But yeah, click the link in the description to bid Ponky. Let's just say there was a tweet where it's like post 4 fictional female characters that are important to you. Let's just say there was a Higurashi character and an Umineko character. I can't tell you who is who. You have to look at the Twitter page to find out. The results may or may not surprise you, depending on how much you know me. But anyways, let's start. No more stalling. Tomoe awoke freezing cold. The area around her was pitch black, so she couldn't see anything. How strange, she thought. It was sunny until a little while ago. Did she fall asleep? A fishy aroma, excuse me, that's self promo for Uminato, began to uncomfortably tickle her nose. She wondered how long she was asleep. And more importantly, where was she? When Tomoe got up to take a look around, she noticed her body felt as heavy as lead. Then, lukewarm liquid was overflowing from the back of her throat, suffocating her. Her right cheek felt sore in a place where it was resting on the ground. It was only after feeling the surface of the asphalt that Tomoe finally remembered. By who? It definitely. No, not this song, dude. It's too sad. It's definitely not Natsumi because she was like waiting for Tomoe to show up. I think Tomoe was gonna go meet Natsumi and then she got stabbed on the way, which means it probably wasn't Yamamoto. But if she was going to go confront Yamamoto, then it might have been him. I don't know. It happened so quickly she didn't have an opportunity to defend herself. Tomoe came to the service area to refuel her car, used their office to take care of some things, and was about to head for the exit when she noticed a woman crossing her arms calling for her to stop. So Tomoe slammed on the brakes. Alright, so this was just a random thing. It's pretty unlucky. The woman said that she was having car trouble and that her battery had died. Tomoe initially felt some desire to hurry out of there, but thinking it wouldn't be too much trouble, she parked her car in the adjacent parking space. Then, as soon as she opened the hood of the car and connected the jumper cables, the strength in Tomoe's legs suddenly gave out and she collapsed to the ground. Before she could comprehend what happened, she felt a burning shock on her right side. At the same time, she could hear the sound of sticky liquid pouring out. Even as her face distorted in the intense pain, Tomoe lifted her head to see the face of the person who stabbed her. The sun was behind her, so it was difficult to see her expression, but her mouth was stained bright red. Dude, it's Takano? Imagine. Probably not. It's probably just a random thing, which is kind of crazy. Smirking with a devilish smile. Sounds like Takano, though. She does have a devilish smile. Cold. Even though her whole body was hot enough to burn, it felt cold. Her coughing grew louder and more intense, and she suffered pain like something was bludgeoning her lungs. Her heart was beating terribly loud, and the rhythm was, little by little, getting weaker. She focused all her power into her eyes, blinking over and over to help her see into the darkness. Then, in her blurry vision, Tomoe could make out the bright, stretched surface of her car with a fuzzy outline in the driver's seat. It looked like the car had been robbed. The glove compartment was left open, documents were scattered about, and the seat cushion was torn open. They probably took the wallet and coins, but there was a good chance they took all the documents related to the case too. Oh my god, it was Tokyo? Nevertheless, Tomoe slowly pulled her right arm out of from underneath her chest, looked at the thing still held in her bloody hand, and felt relieved. Ooh, gotta. Still got the ace in her hole? Just this, right, just keeping this from them was good enough. Moreover, she said that a detective's top priority was their duties, and yet this was what she adhered to at the end of things. She laughed, while thinking it was absurd. Natsumi? Oh, Madoka. That makes a lot more sense, honestly. Even so, she had to tell them. She heard a little of what the culprit said and had to tell them at least that. Faintly. From somewhere she could hear the sound of a siren, and she could see a blinking red light. As she listened to that, somewhere in her consciousness, Tomoe was working hard, refusing to rest. Even as her body grew heavier, she desperately struggled to remember. Repeating words, the words burned into her ears, painting as she tried to squeeze the words out of the back of her throat, repeating it many times as it suffocated her. Bro, it is. I said the fucking Tokyo's spreading the medicine to cause these problems to cover up this cabinet officer guy resigning. It wasn't a crackpot theory. And at last, she barely managed to spit the words out, mixed with bubbles of blood. But before she could check if her words had gotten through the person who found her, her eyelids grew heavy and calmly closed. I came as soon as I heard the news, and I found Chief Yamokai waiting in front of the operating room. No, not just him. On the chair next to him, I could see Madoka-san with her head hanging down. Madoka-san squeezed both her hands together and tried to respond to Oishi-san's call with a smile, as tears streamed down her face. After gently rubbing her back, Chief Yamokai stood up and turned to us. We didn't need to hear anything else to understand what he meant by that. Madoka-san muttered that in a weak, trembling voice.
お姉ちゃん、昔から怪我には強いんだから。肉離れだって、捻挫だって、どんな大怪我でもすぐに治っちゃったし、今度もきっと大丈夫。絶対。
そうですよ。そうに決まってます。絶対ね。
Owushi-san's words of comfort were probably also directed at himself. Hearing him saying those few words of comfort while desperately trying to suppress the intense emotions that were about to explode with a few words only hurt more.
彼女の乗っていた車から財布と現金が持ち出されていたので、刑事一課と二課に総動員をかけて、発見された時、彼女はこれだけを抱えて離さなかったそうです。
Then Chief Yamokai showed us a bloody banquet in a plastic bag.
これは以前から彼女が溜め込んでいたものでしょう。機動捜査隊の早見君の話では、おそらくこれを奪い合いになって犯人から刺された傷が一番ひどいと。
I took the book from Chief Yamokai and looked at the front cover. The name Madoka Minai was written on the main book. Bro, what if Yamokai planned this shit? I know, I don't know, man. Because obviously it wasn't just that. There's some sort of message into the notebook, and I don't know, man. The bank book, I mean. A single word. Unable to hold back any longer, Madoka-san began spilling tears as she muttered that one word. Oops.
親戚のおじさんがお姉ちゃんの学費にって援助してくれたお金が丸々入ってたんです。そんなはした金のために命投げ出すなんて。それだけじゃない。それ以外にも奨学金とか親戚の仕送りとか、他にも毎月必ずちょっとずつ口座に振り込んで、私が家出した後も仲直りしてからもずっと一度も忘れずに。
まどかちゃん、
いらないわよ、いらないから。
Bro, imagine if she actually dies, though. I feel like she might actually die. That'd be crazy. Not Tomoe, man. She was holding her hands together in prayer, so I couldn't say anything to her. I looked up and saw surgery in progress right above the operating room door and saw that it was lit in red. And then the light suddenly turned off and a female doctor dressed in surgical clothes quickly emerged from the inside. Then any explain? After that cruel sentence, Madoka-san let out a small scream and rushed into the operating room. Then Oh, I think she's dead. No, dude. Wait, no, I think she's alive. I think it's a bait. It's a bait. She's actually alive. It's tears of happiness, surely. Madoka-san was wailing. And to hear from the operating room, the lengthy electrical beep of the EKG. Wait, absolutely merciless. Such a harsh way of telling the tale. Wait, she's alive, guys? Surely?
くしょ
ええ、初めてですよ。当然でしょ。いけませんか？所長はあんな感じでアンポンタンですが、うちの署の人間はみんな優秀なんです。つい先月も本部長表彰をいただきましたから。親にもなったことのない自分が申し上げるのは僭越ですが、一緒に過ごした時間だけが親の思い出じゃないと。
The death flashbacks, man. She's alive!
元気を出してください。
I won't believe it until the doctor says it to my face. Always so direct, and with a sense of responsibility and pride in her heart. Never letting her past wounds hold her back, and always showing compassion for others. It's too soon. A person like that shouldn't die so young. It can't be true. There's no way it can end like this. I suddenly looked back after hearing a boisterous noise, and I saw Oishi-san banging his fist against the wall, groaning as he clenched his teeth in rage.
大石さん。すみませんね、赤坂さん。ちょっと黙っててくれませんか。しかし大石さん、その手違う。黙ってろって言っただろ。
Bro, that might actually be the most emotion I've heard in Oishi's voice. Oishi-san let out an angry roar, the lights of which I hadn't heard even back in the kidnapping case. But that anger wasn't directed at me. It was for the culprit, and then...
赤坂さん、私、ひなみ沢で村の連中からなんて言われてたかご存知？お社様の使い。それが私の通り名だったんですよ。私が接触した相手がみんな死ぬか行方不明になるってね。と言ってもそれに当てはまるのは思いつく限りたった一人だけで、言われのない悪口だと笑ってましたがね。ですがね、ここに来てからというもの、捜査の相手がみんな死んでいくんですよ。みんなまるで私を嘲笑うように。そして今度は未来警部だ。ひなみ沢とは何の関係もなかったはずの彼女まで死んだ。私が協力を頼んだばっかりに。なぜなんだ。殺すなら私を殺せばいい。なぜ私以外の人間ばかりを殺しやがるんだ。
Jesus Christ. Man, okay, I take it back. I don't want Tatsuno to have been the one who did that, okay? It's too sad, man.
やめてください、大石さん。自分を傷つけても
彼女がそれを望むと思いますか？
His fist was covered in blood after repeatedly beating the wall in anger, and he had started banging his head against the wall until I shouted at him to stop. In response, he stared back at me with all his rage abundantly displayed across his face. But then he took a deep breath and slowly returned to himself. Oishi-san continued trembling for a while, unable to completely suppress his emotions, but he eventually noticed the blood on the wall and his shoulders slumped down.
大石さん。
すみませんね、赤坂さん。年がいもなく。いや、面目ないですな。
いえ、大石さんのお気持ち、わかります。わかるつもりです。
Oishi-san had doubted and placed his hopes on Chief Inspector Minai as if she were his own daughter. So it was only natural he'd been shocked that she died before him. On top of that, being caught up in an unexpected incident and suffering such a violent death. The frustration and hatred, the passion boiling inside me started to flare up. If God really exists, why was she given such a terrible ending? Anu, come on, answer him. She worked harder than anyone. She suffered so much. She's alive, by the way. She and her sister are finally about to find happiness together, so why?
山沖所長。何でしょうか？私は門外の人間ですが、犯人捜査にはぜひとも協力させていただけ、お力になれるかはわかりませんが、捜査員の数合わせにはなれると思います。
I was completely aware that this was outside my jurisdiction, but I just couldn't overlook this incident. If I could, I'd like to catch the killer with my own hands and tear them apart. Even if that was impossible, I could show them a hell fitting for the crime they committed. The vengeance in my heart was burning up. I couldn't hold back as it enveloped my entire body. However,
ぜひともと言いたいところですが、赤坂警視、あなた方には他にやるべきことがあるはずです。ひなみ沢の大災害の秘密を探る。そのためにこの町へ来られたのではなかったのですか？しかし、それとこれとは話が別です。それに彼女は私たちのためにいろいろ。別ではありません。警視に大石さん、南井警部の事件は強盗殺人ではありません。
oh, they got our message, at
ま
least.
どか君の前では控えていたが、少なくとも私はそう睨んでいます。
Dun dun dun. What did that mean? No way. Was this a premeditated crime? Was she targeted? Oops.
彼女を殺したのはおそらく例の一件に関与するものです。
Proof? I guess she's really dead. Okay, I was waiting for the bait and switch, but no. Rest in peace, Tomoe. I did not expect you to die like that. Fucking shanks, man. That was a crazy scene, by the way. Like, crazy emotions all around. Some top tier voice acting. And then Oishi went crazy. Literally, I don't think he's ever been that distraught in all of Higurashi I've seen so far. Maybe like when he got shot in Minaguroshi and he was like, oh, like that stream was pretty good. But man, rip to a real one. There are no flowers decorating the empty desk. The detectives of the 1st Investigation Division reached a consensus and forbade anyone from placing a vase on her desk.
いいかお前ら。南井次長の葬儀への参列は全員禁止だ。墓参りも自粛しろ。彼女を刺した犯人をひっ捕まえて 法の裁きのもとに引きずり出すまでお前ら次長を弔える資格があると思うな。
Who's that one guy? Probably Fujita. The super pumped. All the men responded to Chief Yamotai's declaration by sobbing, closing their eyes, clenching their teeth, and turning red in the face. The two detectives she trusted most among them, Fujita and Hanada, seemed to be particularly grief-stricken.
誰に喧嘩を売ったのか思い知らせてやる。クソゲドウが
True. All true. Like I said, I take back it being Takano, because of this, but yeah, fuck him up. It's Tokyo. Fuck Tokyo. All my homies hate Tokyo. Everyone knows Kyoto's a better city. The two detectives, who seemed mild-mannered when I first met them, had fire in their eyes. They let out a forceful shout as they reached for their handguns in their holsters and jumped up without looking back. Trigger on the finger. Finger on the trigger. Trigger on the finger. I got it mixed up. And not just them. Detectives of all ages charged together with their weapons to hunt down Chief Inspector's murderer. Actually getting shot on sight. Damn it, Artis, I have to stop with the long pauses. The true value of a person can only be understood after their death. In that sense, it became abundantly clear that Chief Inspector Manai was an exceptional police officer. After seeing off the detectives of the 1st Investigation Division, Chief Yamotai invited us to another room. And there he told us the details of the incident.
事件が起こったのは午後5時頃。喧嘩のような怒号を聞きつけたトラック運転手が様子を見に行くと、作業服姿の男2名と女性が車の脇で揉み合っていたのを目撃しています。そして警察を呼ぼうと近くの電話ボックスに駆けつけて110番通報し、再び現場に戻ると、女性が運転席に倒れ込むようにして血を流していたとのことです。しかし鑑識からの報告によると、警部が最初に刺されたのは血だまりの広がりから見て車1台分右横の駐車スペースでした。おそらくそこに車が止まっていたのでしょう。血痕にはわずかにタイヤの跡が残っていました。
This was Chief Yomotai's opinion. The perpetrator probably asked Chief Inspector Manai for help. She probably parked next to the car that was having trouble and offered to give it a look. And right then, when she was completely unprotected, she was stabbed from behind with a sharp knife, then collapsed to the ground. Then she used her remaining strength to get up and fight with the criminals who ransacked her car, which irritated one of the culprits, so they stabbed her again. I imagined the sight. Even after the assailant stabbed Chief Inspector Manai, she probably realized that the criminal might try to take Madoka-san's bankbook and resisted as much as she could to protect it. It may not have had a lot of money, but even so, it was important to her and carried a lot of sentimental value. So she took it back from them with no regard for the danger, and in doing so ended up losing her life.
しかし、それだけでどうして物取りの線は薄いと。
ハンドバッグとダッシュボードを漁って財布と小銭を奪い取った。ここまではいい。問題はなぜ彼女の車を狙ったのかということです。
Unable to understand the meaning behind Chief Yomotai's question, Oishi-san and I turned to face each other. A lone woman seemed like an easy target for a thief. Plus, Chief Inspector Manai was driving an unmarked police car, so there's no way a stranger to know that she was a police officer. Wait a minute. That's what the stranger would think, so then...
そういえば
ええ。犯人グループは車内を荒らした時に警察無線を目撃しているはずです。
Hmm.
そして当然ダッシュボードに収めてあった拳銃にも気づいていた。実際開け放って中をぶちまけていますからね。にもかかわらず見ない警部の服から
So she got like ganked, but I didn't mention anything. Because it's pretty intense. But it's not only one girl. She got ganked by like 2 other people too.
おかしくはありませんか。
Yep. Pretty sussy. They didn't even check on person.
確かに変で
Or
す
just yoinked the badge. Even if the thieves suddenly panicked when they realized the victim was a detective, taking the badge and handgun would be some consolation for the trouble. The police would fiercely investigate the perpetrator in a top-killing incident, so it would be natural to take anything they could use for protection. But they didn't do that. Were they so desperate they could only take the money?
しかも彼女の持っていたファイルや書類にいくつか破り取った跡がありました。彼女は捜査に関係のない資料は持ち歩かない性格でしたから、コソ泥どもが手に入れて得になるものがあるとも思えない。ということはむしろ
そっちの資料が本命ってわけですか。では犯人は最初から見ない警部を殺すつもりで。
Chief Himotai's eyebrows wrinkled as he quietly nodded. The logic behind it was sound.
しかしどうやってともえちゃんの行動を調べたんですか。彼女があらかじめ柿内サービスエリアに立ち寄ると分かっていなければ
Spies?
仕組んだのでしょう。
Or buds?
確実に彼女はそこのサービスエリアに立ち寄るように。
Rather than spend time explaining it to us, Chief Yamotai pointed to the whiteboard above the desk. It was the first investigation division scheduling chart.
見ない警部の行き先はこの一課室の予定
Oh.
を見ればわかります。彼女は岐阜県警の鑑識課に向かうと書いてありました。
それで
見ない者の燃料メーターを見たところ満タンになっていました。つまり見ない警部は給油を行うためにサービスエリアのガソリンスタンドに寄った証拠です。事実スタンドの店員に聞き込みを行った早見君からの報告によれば、事件の発生直前に彼女がそこを訪れてガソリンを補給したことが判明しています。
なんでそこで給油を行うと。
岐阜県警かそれ以外か。戻ってくるときに彼女の
Oh.
ガソリンを抜いたのだ
To guarantee that she stopped for gas? That's pretty crazy. But I guess I can see it.
実際もしこの署から出た際に残量が少なければ雪のスタンドのどこかで給油を行ったはずですからな。
Chief and I was a thrifty person. If she needed to refuse, she would have opted to use the cheapest gas station around.
それにここのスタンドはガソリン税
Right, I forgot about this talk.
隣の県よりも安いですからね。
And they were close to Gifu, or in Gifu, looking at the spot Takano's body was found. Or, not exactly, but, you know, near the area.
ここから先はしばらく給油できるところもないし、下り方面からの利用客で結構賑わっています。私も時々利用しますから。
あと先ほど情報センターで録音テープを確認したのですが、見ない警部の報告がない。まめに報告する彼女にしては変だと思って調べてみたのですが、どうやら上書きされていた形跡がある。
Dun dun dun. Chief Immorte set down a tape recorder and hit play. Silence continued for 3 to 4 minutes, as if nothing was recorded, but just as I thought that. That was unmistakably the voice of Inspector Manai.
ということはテープの記録が消されている。
この後県警本部の科学捜査班に回して消えた音の再生が可能かを検証してもらう予定です。
ちょっと待ってください。それじゃあ彼女を殺した犯人は
この署に内通者がいるということでしょう。
Imposter among us.
朝知恵のね。そして彼女の行った先にも共犯者がいる。つまりそういうことですよ。
Oh god. It was Fujita the whole time. It was Yamamoto. I like Chatoacho through the room. It was Oishi-san's voice.
赤坂さん、私はね、これでまた一つたたりを引き起こした奴らをぶっ殺してやる理由ができましたよ。
大石さん、
こんなちんけなやり方であの子を殺した奴らを私は絶対に許さない。ねえ、追ってやりますよ、地の果てまで。この体の全てが動かなくなって命が尽きるその時まで、私はこのクソふざけた連中を追って探し出して、そして虫の息になるまで血だるまにしてから牢獄にぶち込んでやる。
Not again, man. You just fixed your hand. Oishi-san lit up like a raging inferno, repeatedly smashing his fist into the wall. Even though I was holding back my emotions, I felt the same way.
あと最後に救急班の一人が彼女の言葉を拾っていました。
Oh, here's the message.
白、内調と。それを3度ほど繰り返していたようです。
白、内調。
What did that mean? Excuse me, that's not his name? I don't know what the guy's name is. The word Shiro and cabinet office had no special meaning to my knowledge.
白は色のことかもしれません。
Oh, never mind.
しかし、内調はもう少し調べてから。
Is it not the cabinet office position? You know, the big deal with the guy resigning?
お願いします。
Friday, July 8th, 1983. Heading out to the break room around 9 o'clock, I stepped into the 1st Investigation Division's main office. I looked around the interior. There were no signs of anyone from the division at work. Maybe they worked all night and couldn't get home until very late. Was this room always so large? I examined the room as I thought that, then my gaze stopped at a certain point, and a sense of loneliness welled up inside me.
大石さんもまだか。
We were here late last night, organizing an investigation and related information until dawn. About the relationship between the Great Hinamizawa disaster and the Gifu Prefectural Police Headquarters that Chief Inspector Manai visited yesterday. However, there is nothing related to the 5th year curse other than the nurse burning incident. I also contacted the Gifu Prefectural Police Forensics team, but their only response was she didn't come here. And her trustworthy contact there, Matsusuto, was out on a sudden business trip and wouldn't return until next week, so we decided to take a short rest in the break room to cool our heads. Oishi-san was a little late, probably because he had trouble falling asleep. Just then, I heard a knock from behind the door.
どうぞ。
I replied even though I wasn't sure if it was okay for me to do so. When the door opened, a middle-aged female police officer stood before me.
すみません。こちらに 大石さんという方はいらっしゃいますか？
はい。何か？
あ、はい。大石さん宛てに見ない警部から速達郵便が
Dun
届いてい
dun
ます。
dun. The backup plan. I was so surprised, I tipped the trash can at my feet as I stood up. Then I rushed over to the female officer and snatched the large envelope from her hands to look at the sender and the recipient.
ちょっと。
なんでこれが。
Indeed, it was addressed to Takuchi Station, and the name Torado Oishi-sama was written in clear feminine handwriting. There were only a handful of people at the office who knew that he was here yet.
いきなりで申し訳ありません。これ本当に見ない警部の筆跡かわかる人はいますか？
え？あ、はい。私でよろしければ。確かに彼女の筆跡だと思います。
Even though the female officer was confused at first, she quickly regained her composure like a true veteran and answered my question. She told me that she worked as a postal clerk for over 3 years, so she had ample experience in analyzing handwriting to deal with the forgeries, okay, that sounds wrong, forgeries, and practical jokes. And since she, herself, knew about Chief Inspector Minai's murder, she inspected it carefully to confirm for herself. Still thinking it strange, I decided to show it to either the Section Chief of the 1st Investigation Division or his representative.
すみません。これ私に預からせてください。あと仮眠室受付の内線番号を教えていただけますでしょうか？
I held out my police badge and stated my identity, then picked up the phone and dialed the number I heard from the female officer. After I rang several times, I neglected to greet the person on the other end and immediately started talking.
大石さんという方を大至急一課までお願いします。
では開けますよ。
Okay, what is it? I got in touch with Chief Yamotai and Madoka-san, who watched along with Detective Fujita and the others as Oishi-san opened the large envelope and removed its contents. Inside, we found a complete set of documents, paper clipped together, a pamphlet, an insurance card, and a letter.
大石さん、そこに何が？
Oishi-san silently handed it over to me. Looking it over, it was only a few sentences long. Oh, she knew. What the heck?
何もなかった時はあんまり笑わないでくださいよ。
まさか見ない警部が。
驚きましたね。神経質で慎重すぎるところが彼女の悪い癖だとずっと思ってきましたが、結局それが全部プラスに働いている。惜しいですよ、本当に。
Chief Inspector Minai probably felt something was odd about how the fuel level on her car suddenly dropped as she waited to finish refueling.
ひょっとしたら誰かの仕業？
Sensing that impending danger, she must have been preparing for a worst-case scenario. She must have smiled bitterly to herself as she wrote the letter, wondering if she was overthinking it. Indeed, if nothing had happened, it would have been a funny story, worthy of a little teasing. Even so, she acted faithfully and carried out her responsibility as a detective.
本当、警察バカだよね。お父さんと同じ。
まどかさん。
Then we looked through the papers she sent. These were probably copies made with cheap office coffee machines, so they were a little hard to read due to the bleeding of the ink, but they were still legible enough to grasp the contents. One document was a drug analysis report from the Gifu Prefectural Police Forensics Division. Wait, what that? They said she didn't come, but she came? It bore the seal of the person in charge, Matsuoka.
これ例のカプセルの診断書です。畠山家で見つかったやつと。あ、こっちは君吉夏美が所持していたやつの分析結果です。
Then Detective Fujita told us what he discussed with Chief Inspector Manai the other day, her reasoning to suspect that the killer in the Hatateyama family murder case was actually their daughter, Aoi Hatateyama. Everyone was completely surprised, and Detective Hanada grabbed him in anger, asking why didn't you tell us sooner, but he withdrew his hand when he learned she kept it from us because he and I had daughters of our own. But these new facts had a huge impact.
これはまさか本当なのですか？
ええ、間違いありませんね。2つの薬は全く同じもの。そしてこの薬は抗興奮系と
Oh my god.
系の成分が多量に含まれ、
Wait. Anti-stimulants.
主に精神疾患の治療に使われる薬に使用されるとここには書いてあります。
Okay, so it's not used for acceleration then.
精神疾患。君吉夏美と畠山葵がですか。
ではこれを服用している患者は
Dude, imagine if this is like just a supply from Irie. Just loaded them up with it before they left.
具体的な病名は判別不能のため、医師に確認を取ってくださいとのことです。しかしこの薬の効用は強すぎるため、日本国内は確実に未認可対象になると担当者は書いています。欧米では使用禁止にもなったと。
What that? Where's it used? So, in summary, normally negative emotions like anger, hate, and resentment can be controlled by reasoning. However, there are also people who can't control these feelings naturally. It can't simply be brushed aside as a personality problem. In that sense, both Natsumi Kimiyoshi and Aoi Hatakeyama had some manner of mental disorder. And based off the components in the medicine, it can be inferred that they lack the ability to suppress explosions of anger and other emotional outbursts. Normally, education and discipline would correct the issue at a time like those, but when their symptoms manifested, and the two of them probably took this fast-acting medicine to mentally stabilize themselves. However, the stronger the medicine, the more they grow dependent on it, and the side effects of withdrawal become even more apparent. For as much as it rapidly suppresses the surge of emotions, the user will instantly suffer a strong rebound the moment the medicine wears off. Okay, maybe it is used to trigger it then. And that can result in heightened destructive urges, development of a persecution complex, or other extreme thoughts and actions. In other words, these emotional explosions can temporarily drive them into a violent mindset and massively elevate the risk of outlandish behavior.
とりあえず、君吉夏美の過去を調べてみる必要がありますね。治療歴や通院歴、学校での評判も彼女の状況を判断する上で貴重な資料です。大石さん、早速行きましょうか。
ねえ、それじゃあ私は彼女の通っていた沖宮時代の中学校。
Just then.
はい、第三会議室。え？あ、はい。赤坂さん、東京からお電話が入っています。
Tokyo?
加納さんという方から。
Oh, yeah. The boss man. Hearing that name left me confused. After all, Kano-san told me that he wouldn't contact me during the investigation. Then why?
赤坂警視、場所を移動しますか。私の執務室を使っていただければ。
助かります。それではそちらで。
だけど、なんでお姉ちゃんはこんな歯科医院のパンフレット？
What do you mean?
はい、赤坂です。
What do you mean? Why did she have a pamphlet for it? Unless they were getting the pills from dentistry, and that was like their painkillers they were giving out for dental plans, and they were just. That's how they've been getting them? Wait a minute, that's huge brain. Hello? The message from Kanao-san was even more shocking than I could have predicted.
ちょっと待ってください、加納さん。それはどういうことですか？
I don't know, I didn't hear shit.
そのままの意味だよ。君の調査活動は
No!
の命令を受けた。
Caught blocked!
すまないが、戻ってきてもらいたい。
Tokyo's really doing their victory lap, eh? We're on to them though. Dude, they were poisoning their minds through dentistry. I think that has to be it. The dentist memes were real. That's why no clinical records. They were just like, oh, these are painkillers. Don't worry about it.
どうしたの、千里ちゃん。
Uh-oh. This is gonna be spooky too. Anyways, thanks for watching the episode. Great session. Rip my girl Tomoe. Actually extremely sad. I was definitely in my fifis during that. That's why we were pretty quiet during that. But yeah, good shit. Love to see it. And I guess we'll see what's up with Chisato-chan in the next episode. But yeah, until then, see ya.